So I just go like.
All right, we're live. All right, guys, welcome to another Believe in Magic Q&A. My name is Alex Borton. I'll be your host today. Today we have the great, the wonderful Roger Nicot.
Woo! Hi, Alex. Great to be here.
Thank you, Roger. All right, so just before we get into the nitty-gritty of everything, I just wanted to let everybody know that we are going to be running a couple of big contests.
Yes.
Roger's been nice enough to grace us with a grand prize. And do you want to announce the grand prize at the end?
Well, it's actually Christian Shank is donating the grand prize. He doesn't know it yet. I haven't told him. He's the owner of Card Shark, but he is donating the science friction set, which is a $95 retail value, and we'll get more into that later when we start talking about the products. But that's the grand prize, is the science friction set. So, but he doesn't know it yet, so don't tell him. Thanks.
All right. And that's going to be a good one. Now, we're also going to be offering a live prize, and that is going to be the marked deck kick, the Phoenix marked deck kick, right?
Yeah, it's the Phoenix marked. Oh, you know something? He's giving this one away too, and he doesn't know it. Okay, it's the marked deck set, which includes a red marked, a blue marked, a red regular, and a blue regular deck of Phoenix cards, along with our DVD, which is Release the Power, which is Christian Shank's DVD about the history as well as everything that can be done with the Phoenix deck, because the Phoenix decks were designed and they are being manufactured with the magician in mind. So that's the live prize.
All right. So we'll go. What was that?
State of the art packaging.
It's fancy. You have to hold your pinky up when you're holding it. You have to hold your pinky up. It's fancy. That's right.
Right over the boss. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So.
Oh, that's the live prize. Yeah.
So. Roger, you're going to be so much fun. I'm going to have trouble trying to cut this off. Cut this one off. But can we start? Can we start with you telling about yourself to the people who may not know about you?
Sure.
Where to start?
Oh. No. My name is Roger Nicot, and I was born and raised in a small town in New York State.
All right.
Actually, I actually learned my first trick when I was in first grade through the Dunninger. It was actually like a coloring book format size of the Dunninger Book of Magic. And it was in first grade. I actually found the book in my brother's room, and I wasn't supposed to be in there, you know. And so when it was actually a card change idea, where a card was attached to a thread, and the thread went up your sleeve, and then to change the card, you discreetly pull on the thread, and the other card would go up your sleeve. And so you could turn it over and show the card was there. So anyway, my mother wanted to know where I learned this trick, and of course I wasn't supposed to be in my brother's room, but I rented myself out. So she started, reading the book to me, and teach, and I would, as she would read, I would do the effect, and so it's kind of how it all got started. Then saw magicians on television, got a magic set for Christmas, and the rest was pretty much history. I put myself through undergraduate school doing, I basically did a dove and candle act. Unfortunately, Lance Burton was thinner and better looking. So he's the one that got the real popularity of Doves and Candles back in the late 60s, early 70s. I went on I was actually a probation officer with New York State for a period of time. Got really bored with that because I was an idealist, and I started tending bar and doing magic full time because I tended bar and did magic as a part-time basis. So I went full time back in 19. Opened up a magic shop in Buffalo, New York at the same time. It was on the third floor of Thurston's Palace of Mystery, which was downtown Buffalo. And it was a great magic bar. It has a lot of great history there. So, and since that point in time, I'm currently the USA and actually Western Hemisphere representative for Card Shark products of Germany. Christian Shank and I became friends at the 2008 4F convention in Batavia, New York, and then we really connected at the SAM convention, which was in Buffalo, New York, the same year. So I thought that he could probably use some help promoting his products. At that point in time, he basically had it was just the vintage stuff. He had the vintage tarot decks, the heirloom decks, and I mean they're great cards. I mean they're absolutely beautiful. And then as the business progressed, little by little, I took on more responsibility here in the United States, and now it's my full-time job. That's where it's at right now.
All right, so and this is actually just going to be coming from me then. How are you on performing? Is that something you're doing just kind of on a special basis now?
I don't perform. I should, because I've got so much material. I mean, I've forgotten more material than I do, at the present time. My presentation and my performances right now is pretty much limited to conventions at the dealer booth. And I perform. I'm generally at a convention at least once a month.
All right. So you're performing every day. It's just kind of demoing your own products.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So that's neat to be able that you've been able to take something as unstable as performing and waiting for people to come to you perform and be able to turn it into a stable income. That's difficult to do.
Yeah, well, Card Shark has been my full-time income now for, I think it's going into the 4th year now. So
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, plus it affords.
Go on.
Pardon?
No, go on.
It affords me the opportunity for international travel. I mean, I've been to England 5 times this year. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. So
absolutely. Well, let's jump into some questions from the group.
Sure.
Croissant Ludrian rather asks, do you have any tips for magicians who have sweaty or wet hands?
Actually,
one more time. Here, hold on. Let me make sure that it's on you. Here, show that one more time. They didn't see that.
Well,
I always used tissue paper or paper towel in the pockets when I first started getting really sweaty. But everybody has their own technique, right?
Some people actually for that they use cornstarch as well. Take a little bit of cornstarch and rub it into your hands. It works. It doesn't smell kind of like like talcum powder, so it doesn't look like you've got a baby in your pocket. Cornstarch is also used by billiard and pool players on their hands, as well as chalk. So that works. You can use a rosin bag that athletes use. that also keeps a dry, a drier surface to it. Unfortunately, I suffer from the exact opposite problem. My hands are overly wet or overly dry. My hands are constantly dry. So a lot of it has to do with working with paper. I also work with wood and manufacture some products for other guys. I neglected to mention that I also manufacture as well. So, but my hands are always dry.
Well,
So I use a variety of creams. And I also use a product called, if I can find it, I just had it.
that tin you just had.
It's Magician's Choice from Mercy Magic, which is unfortunately the bottles do have a little leak to them, but it's a Magician's Choice by Mercy Magic, and it's just a liquid. You put a drop of it on your hands and rub it in, and it works really well. So that's one of the things that I do for dry hands. So.
See, that's what I suffer from. I'm out here in Arizona, and my primary income right now is air conditioning. It's a lot of hot work, a lot of dry work in the dirt, and I just right along the tips of my fingers completely crack right out constantly, and it's so hard to maintain. So
there's a product that I also use called Glysolid. It's GLY Solid. GLY. Here it is right here. And it's also excellent for dry hands.
Okay.
Also, and this is typically available in most beauty supply stores, as well as your upper end drugstores. There's also a product out that I actually saw at Home Depot called Working Hands, which is a really good cream as well.
Yeah, I'll have to go look for that. I'm in Home Depot all the time.
Yeah, look for Working Hands. It's generally at the checkout areas in the customer service.
Let's see here. Danny Horner asks, who were your influences getting into magic besides your brother?
He didn't know that he was an influence. Well, back when I was around 10 years old, my sister and brother-in-law had moved downstate into the Catskill Mountain areas, and my brother-in-law was a teacher, and in the summertime, most of the teachers worked as waiters and waitresses at the big resorts down there, Grossinger's and the Concord, which were really big entertainment resorts back in the 60s. Well, when they found out that the magic bug had really bitten me, there was a bar down there called Kilcoyne's Tavern that was owned by a magician by the name of Al Mccoy. Now, really kind of funny because nobody has ever really heard of Al Mccoy except Jeff McBride and myself. It was really kind of funny because Jeff and I occupied the same bar stool on different days.
Oh yeah.
What would happen? My brother, when I went down to visit, my brother-in-law or sister would drop me off at Al's bar at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, and then come back and pick me up at 6 o'clock at night. Al probably really loved that. Al's deceased now, but it's really kind of funny because he would teach me one trick. Now Al wasn't really well known internationally. I mean, he wasn't like Eddie Fector or Matt Schulian or any those guys.
Right.
But Al was really entertaining. I mean, he was just an entertaining guy. He had some basic tricks that he did. He did Glorpy. He did a chop cup. He did card on the wall with a thumbtack. Um, he did a copper silver routine and a center tear and some other stuff. And the deal was I would go down and Al would teach me one trick. And the next time that I came down, I had to perform the trick. And if I performed it good enough, then he would teach me another trick. So that was kind of how that went. And Al was really kind of a real big influence.
That's a really good deal,
though. What was that, Alex?
I said that's a really good deal, though. I mean, like, if you think about it, hey, dedicate yourself to this hard enough, and I'll show you the next one.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's a really good philosophy and a really good teaching tool, premise to do. In fact, it was really kind of funny because whenever I would walk in the door, I mean, I was a 10-year-old kid, and I would walk into the door of the bar on a Sunday afternoon, and the first thing he would do was yell, "Hey, show me a trick!" And he was always excited to see you. He was always glad, even though he probably got, "Oh God, here comes that kid again." He really made me feel as though I was appreciated and really wanted, there. I think that Al only had, I think he had 2 daughters, so he was probably looking for some kid to pass on the magic to, so I had moved out of New York when I was 16 and moved to Michigan. Well, I ended up moving back to New York after college, and I had lost track of Al and hadn't really contacted him or done anything. And so one day I decided I'd hop in my car and I'd drive down to see, what was going on. So, and it was a 6-hour drive. So I drove down and I got there at around 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and I walked through the door. Now this is 14 years later. I walked through the door and Al looked up. And he looked and he looked at me, and finally he goes, "Hey, show me a trick." So he knew who I was, and so yeah, we had a good time. So anyway, it was kind of funny because Jeff McBride and I had been passing, we'd see each other, we'd wave, but we really didn't know each other. Till once we started a conversation, and he goes, "Roger, I've known you for years." He says, "But I've never known how you got into magic." And I said, "Well, I told him the story. It was my brother's book, Magic Kit for Christmas, the typical,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how most guys started with magic." And then when I said, but there was this little bar in Swan Lake, New York, and Jeff's eyes got about this big. And he goes, "Al Mccoy?" And so yeah, it's kind of like Jeff and I have this base of magic, together. So it's because nobody's ever mentioned Al Mccoy to him either. So
That's
it's just kind of
yeah. I mean, I always talk about small world, but like really.
Well, we are, well, and this has been a work in progress for the past 5 years, I think. Jeff and I really want to get Al Mccoy into the Archives of Magic, and we're going to co-write and like a little bio about Al and our history with him, just so that he's not forgotten, So.
Absolutely, no, I mean, as he should be.
But now I will tell you a little story though.
What's up?
And now, Al wasn't. I mean, his sleight of hand was questionable at best. He wasn't one of these manipulators. He wasn't a juggler with cards. He was entertaining, and his
Right.
magic was and his magic was very good. Well, there was a group of people there one night that obviously had come down from one of the resorts because Al was kind of a local legend, you know. And these people, the leader of the group, you know, they were pretty. They had a good time, let's say that, by the end of the night. And the leader of the group said, you know, Al, you've given me so much fun. I can't remember when I've had so much fun. I'm going to send you a present like no present you ever got. Well, you know, Al, you know, how many times you hear that when you're tending bar? So Al just kind of forgot about it, you know, and you know, just said, yeah, thanks a lot. Come back next time you're in town, you know. Well, and about 2 weeks later, now the bar, Swan Lake is not far from Monticello, New York. And in Monticello, there happens to be a very large horse race track. And Al used to like to play the horses, and there was generally a couple of racing forms, you know, on the bar someplace. Well, the phone rang one day. This is after this group had been there. And Al answered the phone, and it was the stable master at Monticello Racetrack. 2 thoroughbreds had just been sent there in his name, and he wanted to know what Al wanted done with them. Guy sent Al 2 thoroughbred racehorses.
Wow.
Since that point in time, Al got more and more and more involved in racing, and he ended up moving down south to Florida and continued racing, and ended up selling the bar. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you know, shows you how impressionable you can be sometimes. Or, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what trick really did it for that group.
Mm-hmm.
The invisible deck.
Speaking of which.
Oh man. Now, you know, I mean, even when I was tending bar, you know, and I used to do, I do a fair amount of sleight of hand back then, and I was doing, I was working with a lot of guys that were really involved in sleight of hand. Right. And after I do 20 minutes of real killer knuckle busting stuff, the thing I would close with was the invisible deck. You know, I would start out using gaffs, and then once I got their attention, I would start doing strictly sleight of hand. And then once they're assured that there's nothing wrong with the deck, I start using gaffs again. And
you know, I had a question. Like, you mentioned earlier science friction. Yeah. Like, you demonstrated it for me earlier, and that just seemed like I don't want to say the perfect
yeah.
It was such a great
science friction. What's that?
It was so, everything was so silky, I wanted to say, and it was just a beautiful, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know how we can segue into this.
I know. I'm trying not to say too much, but it was at the same time, it was just you said invisible deck, and it was just such a.
Well, okay, we'll get into it, you know, if you want. A couple of years ago, Alexander Collet, who's a magician in Germany, came up with this product. He worked with a chemist, and he needed somebody to front the money, you know. Hence, Christian Shank got involved, who's the owner of Card Shark, and it's this product is called Science Friction. Okay, and this does everything that roughing fluid can do, and it does everything that roughing fluid can't do. In that you only need to apply, with roughing fluid, you have to apply it to two surfaces, in order to stick.
Right.
With science friction, it only requires one surface to be treated, and that's the beauty of science friction, because in a lot of effects with rough and smooth, it requires the whole direct, it requires multiple cards to be treated. With science friction, it only requires the one card to be treated.
More economical.
Let's give you an example here. I can do this. We'll use.
And I don't mind you being careful about all this either. So, like, just in case.
No, we'll just take out a card. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. I'll class portion that one. How's that? Right. I know that the camera work is, I wish we had other cameras, but anyway. If we're going to use your card as the money card in a game of 3-card Monte. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put your card in between the 2 3s like this. Okay? So now, Alex, for a $5 bill, where's your card?
It's middle.
Right. Yeah, it's in the middle, right?
Right.
Okay. So now for a $10 bill, your card is where?
It's in center.
Right. Yeah. So now for a $20 bill, your card is definitely where?
Probably in the center.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought too. Now, with science friction, did you get that?
Yeah, that was it was in the back.
Yeah.
All right.
And then,
all right.
now,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, and it's so now my hands, I've got some cream on them, but here's what's going on. This card has science friction just across the top, and there's nothing on the center card. I cheated. I had 3 3s.
Right.
Okay. So that when you apply pressure down here, because the front card has science friction just here.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing on the middle card, and this card just has it here.
Okay. Okay.
So when you apply pressure to the bottom, that makes the top card the double.
But if you apply it to the top, okay.
And when you apply it to the top, that makes this is really weird to something. I don't have I don't think this other card's treated. Hold on. Here we go. So yeah, when you apply pressure here, it makes. There we go. When you apply pressure here, it makes the top card the double. When you apply pressure here, it makes the bottom card the double. I'm trying to do this. So and like that. So when you're putting it in here like this, now the top card's actually the double.
All right.
So you can do this all day long. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And then if you do that, you see it goes to the bottom.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Yeah.
So it's just on the one card?
2 cards. 2 cards.
Or on the but yeah, right.
Only partial.
Like rough. It just sticks.
Yeah. So that even here you can show like this, and then you can go like this, and it's like another card. Here, we can do this.
Okay.
Here we go. You can show like this, and it's only 2 cards. There we go. And then when you go like that, you can have the selection appear.
All right.
I mean, this is just it's just amazing stuff. It's I mean, I can't say enough about it. And I mean, I dem it all the time at all the conventions. I mean, but you can use it. In fact, we are currently this is so new. It's only been available at conventions, and it's going to be on our website probably within the next month or so. It's an invisible deck actually made with science fiction, and it's actually the best invisible deck you'll ever have, and that will be available through the website. So,
awesome.
Anyway,
invisible decks, man. That invisible deck was crazy. Actually, you know, I saw a question on here that kind of goes along with something I was thinking, and it was from Sam Pandya. You like tell stories amazingly. Like you just kind of orate through things and just navigate through this through stories just really well. He asks, how do you develop your storyline for a show?
I guess it would depend upon what kind of show you're doing. Your pattern lines depend upon what effect you're doing, and it depends upon what kind of show, and also the personality that you're trying to portray as a performer. You know, are you a wizard? Are you somebody that the magic just happens to, and it happens by accident? Are you the juggler type of magician, which I don't really call magicians, but you know, I guess it depends upon what you yourself are trying to portray yourself as, and then start with the character and build your storyline from there. You know, I mean, during a performance, you can't be a wizard and then all of a sudden, and have wizardy powers. And then all of a sudden, go over here and do something that's totally out of character. I mean, that just doesn't work. So you really have to, at least this is the way that it works for me, is that once I portray myself as a character, you have to stay within that character.
Coherency.
Exactly.
It has to be a constant show, like a string of events.
Consistency, Right.
Let's see here. Danny Horner. Now, and I like this one because you do perform every day, and most of the stuff you're doing is demoing. So he asks, what's your favorite trick to perform?
I really do like the science fiction stuff. I mean, the card shark stuff is it's so good because it pretty much allows you to do whatever you want to do with it. It's you can horse around with it. You can because the magic happens because of the product. And because of our products are of such a good quality, you can spend your time more into the presentation. Although the science fiction is one of my favorite things. The other favorite thing that I do is I was starting to talk about Al Mccoy and the chop cup. Back when I owned a magic bar too. Okay, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I did the chop cup nonstop. I mean, in fact, I got my first chop cup when I was 12 years old. I got it for Christmas because of the influence of Al Mccoy at the Kilcoyne Tavern. Mm-hmm. Now I had, since then I'd had several different chop cups. but the one that I liked the best was at that point in time was the Rings and Things chop cup. It was big. It had a big mouth. In fact, I used it as a shaker as the tin for a shaker at my bar. When I went out to buy my glassware, I used the Rings and Things chop cup to measure the glasses before I bought them. You know, so unfortunately, the health department came in and saw it sitting there because I had it on the bar with other shaker, tops and stuff. And the health department said, you don't use that as, for liquid, for making drinks. And I went, well, they said you can't because it's aluminum. You can't use, you can't use it because it's got to be stainless steel. So, and also there was a groove where they put the magnet insert into the thing, the magic insert into the thing. And yeah, so anyway, I said, well, if I just had it out here on the bar, it'd be okay. As long as I don't use it, I'll just so it's disguised with the other shakers. They said fine. Well, one Saturday night, somebody stole my Rings and Things chop cup. I mean, I was devastated. They just stole it. I mean, it probably ended up in their trash, or it might be holding pencils on somebody's desk. I don't know. But, they stole it. And so I went home, and I was like fuming. I was like really hot. So I called a friend of mine, Alan Hayden. Alan performs a lot out at the Magic Castle and stuff. And a lot of people know Alan, but I told Alan, I said, you won't believe what happened. Somebody stole my chop cup, and I went on and on and on about how, now I'm screwed and da-da-da. And he goes, because I'd made things for Alan in the past, he said two words. He goes, make one. I'm going, make one? What are you, crazy? I don't know how to make, there's your handy, learn how to make one. So I took that as a challenge. And a number of years later, I started making them, and I did. I made a couple of chop cups. And so then, little by little, like some of the guys had them. It's like Doc Easton had it. Bob Sheets has got one. J.C. Wagner had one. And so a lot of guys, it was kind of like an underground item. Well, a magician in New York saw it. His name was Matt Furman, and Matt saw one, and I don't even know where he saw it in use, but he hounded the guy. He said, where'd you get that? That's really cool. He goes, well, it's Roger Nicot. He lives south of Buffalo. Blah blah blah. So anyway, Matt found me, and he said he really liked the cup, but he wanted one with different dimensions. So he gave me the dimensions of the cup that he wanted, because he wanted something that was fit in his side pocket. So I went to work on it, and I made him one, and he loved it, and he's bought several since then. Elmwood Magic decided that Paul Richards at Elmwood Magic wanted, he thought that it would be a really good item for Elmwood Magic to carry. So I started making the bar cup. And I hand machine every single one of these things. Comes in a lovely cloth drawstring bag.
Fancy.
But the there we go. But I machine every single one of these. They're all made out of food grade stainless steel. And
you can't have them on your bar now.
Sorry?
You can't have them on your bar.
Oh, I can have this on my bar, yeah. Stainless steel. So it's the only chop cup that is actually approved for use by the New York State Health Department. So anyway, so this was the cup that Matt Furman gave me the dimensions on. Okay. And I kept looking at it, and I'm going, I've got to be able to do something more with this. I've got, it's just, I mean, all it is, I mean, it's a chop cup. Granted, it's made out of stainless steel. I mean, it's virtually indestructible. I mean, you can, I mean, it really is indestructible. In fact, I just dented my table. But it's virtually indestructible. And guys at conventions, they know that sound because I bang it on the table edge. I've broken more tables at conventions than any. Anyway, they're made out of food grade stainless steel. But I had to be able to do something more with it. So after one day I just leaned back, and up on my bookshelf was a P&L 6-shot Loda. Okay, and I'm going, I'll make a Loda top. So this is the Bar Cup Reloaded, which is a chop cup, but it also gives a liquid load at the end into a shot glass. So after you've already proven that it's empty, and that you go into your chop cup routine, then at the end you actually do this and you pour yourself out a drink. So this is a Loda. It's also magnetic. This is a Loda. Here's the breather hole. So it's all physics. When there's liquid in this thing, you put your finger over the breather hole, and it won't pour. It will pour. It won't pour. It will pour.
Okay.
So that's the valve. But it's magnetic, so you can actually pick up that's where you pick up the magnetic ball from.
Oh, nice.
A lot of thought's gone into this thing, and that's comes with the DVD from Card Shark. It has all the care and feeding directions on it. So these are not being mass produced in some little island in Indonesia. I actually hand machine each and every one of these things. So if you order one, and it might take a week or so to before it's in the mail, it's because of other orders ahead of you, because this is cottage industry at its finest.
You're busy washing your sweat and tears off of each and every one, man.
Pardon?
I said you're busy washing all of your blood, sweat, and tears off of each and every one, so you can send them out.
Exactly. I mean, working with stainless, it gets hot, it's dirty, and yeah. But yeah, it is. It's my blood, sweat, and tears on every one. So.
That's right.
But anyway, yeah, that's the Bar Cup Reloaded. So that's my little baby, and that's my second thing. Second favorite thing to perform at conventions. So, yeah. In fact, if you see me at a convention, by all means, stop by, say hi at the Card Shark booth. We'd love to see you. Now, I don't know. So, we have any more questions?
Absolutely, we have lots more. A lot of them are revolving around your performance history, because a lot of these guys are performing now. I know you're kind of just doing the everyday thing, but a lot of these guys are probably either doing close-up right now or even up to stage, or getting into stage right now. So they're asking things like Sam Panya goes, how do you get prepared for a show, or how did you get prepared for a show? How do you select the tricks for a particular set? Among hundreds of tricks that and like you said, you've forgotten more material than you even performed.
Yeah, I've got a really good forgetter. It works really well. Getting ready for a show. You mean like pumping up for a show, or what?
Like Are there any preparations that you do? Or is there like, do you have any? I guess maybe rituals. I mean, depends on how you want to take it. I would think like, how do you put together a set for a particular, like you're going to a wedding? How do you put that set together? Or I'm not sure, like if you're going to, a parlor, how would you put that set together? How would you pick the tricks? Or
a lot of this now. I've been doing magic now for a long time. I literally have been performing magic now for 50 years. Publicly. In fact, I was on I did my first television appearance when I was 12. So, I'm almost Social Security age. So, a lot of this stuff has gotten like second nature almost.
mm-hmm.
If you're like wedding stuff, okay, anniversary waltz is always, weddings are typically a romantic period of time even for the attendees, because you always take a date to a wedding, there's always dancing, things like that. So what I do is I try and take effects with me that where you can involve a couple and then have other people watch. You can doing the anniversary waltz or the Red Hot Mama, something like that. That's always really good. Card effects like that, or utilizing the husband and the wife in one effect would be is really good for that kind of a venue. Where you're actually working a wedding. Tying in the wedding event is always good. In fact, it's really kind of funny. Christian Shank and I were talking about. He was actually doing a wedding, and we sell a trick called Numb, and where you predict four digits, and he made the digits the prediction matched the date of the wedding, which was really pretty cool. So you try and get the effects. Think about the kind of people that are at the event. You're not going to be doing the anniversary waltz for a bunch of bikers. Well, maybe it depends if they're.
Depends on what kind of biker.
Could be a biker, but anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so you have to think about the audience. You have to think about who is actually going to be in attendance, and then go with that. So.
All right. Absolutely. You're trying to connect with your audience, so know your audience.
Yeah, you have to connect with your audience. Seriously.
That actually goes really well into another question, which would be advice on scripting a particular effect. Do you just kind of wing it, or do you have certain routines that you stick to constantly and you've written it out, and if you have that sort of thing, how do you process that, or how do you get through that?
I think that scripting depends upon, again, what character are you yourself trying to portray? Or are you giving the wallet some sort of arcane powers that from whatever are you instilling the objects to have the power, or do you yourself have the power, or are you just how do you want the audience to perceive you, and then go with that.
So it helps to establish your character first, whoever that character happens to be.
You have to establish your character. If you don't know who you are, how are you going to tell the audience who you are? You know?
Okay, so that actually brings me into another one, which would be for characters. Even if it's just an exaggerated person of yourself, you feel that it's then important to have something established, you know, like guidelines as to who you are and how you're portraying yourself, like strict. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of do. You know, my friend Jeff McBride is a magician 24/7. He lives the character. He lives the character that he portrays. You know, I'm not saying that everybody has to do that. Garrett Thomas, another good friend of mine. Again, Garrett Thomas is on 24/7. He is Garrett Thomas, the magician. You know, I don't think I've ever known Garrett Thomas, the guy who's raking leaves or mowing his lawn. I've always known Garrett Thomas as Garrett Thomas, the magician, because that's who he portrays. So, with that, you have to decide yourself as to who you're going to be, and how you're going to react to that, and react to your environment.
So strong character.
I used a big word.
All right, so that's a good breaking point where we
Four
can
syllables.
Go into content, man. I'm just saying.
4 syllables.
We're giving away the mark deck for our live contest, right? That's what you wanted to give away.
Yes.
The mark deck kit. Excuse me. It's, the whole kit, right?
Mark deck set.
All right, the set.
And that includes a regular deck, a red and blue, and a mark deck red and blue, plus the DVD that has Christian Shank on it, called "Release the Power." But don't tell Christian we're giving it away. He doesn't know.
I won't tell him if you don't.
I think he's online someplace. Christian, are you here?
He's not commenting on the thread, so maybe he's just staring at you right now going, exactly.
Yeah. We'll take that off his check this month, this off his check this month, you know. So, yeah.
Money speaks louder than words. Money
That's
speaks
true.
louder than words. All right, so start messaging the word card shark to me, and we'll take what, like the 21st message gets the kit.
Sure.
Now, there is stipulation here, shipping and handling. If you can pay that, that would be absolutely awesome for the winner. But everything else, that's a $40 value. It's yours.
Christian just popped up on Skype. Hold on.
Oh, all right. So, card shark to me while he's answering Skype.
Oh no, it was an old one. He asked me if the Q was going on, so that's okay. So yeah, also, you know, the one thing that I did want to talk about a little bit was what do you have there? What is it? Yes, I'm here. Now I can't get away with anything.
You're in trouble. All right.
The one thing that I did want to talk about though a little bit was the Phoenix deck, if that's okay.
Absolutely, please do. I'll be collecting messages for the next few minutes, so if you could vamp, that would be awesome.
All right. The Phoenix deck was actually evolved because back in 2008, yeah, in 2008, the U.S. Playing Card Company was purchased by the Jarden Corporation that owns Mr. Coffee Coffee Makers, Pine Forest Fireplace Logs, Mason Canning Jars, and the Diamond, otherwise known as the Blue Diamond Company, that sells disposable products for banquets and picnics and things like that, like disposable forks and plates and things. Their legal department came out and said that you could no longer alter the back design of the bicycle for magicians because every time that you do it, it dilutes your copyright. So they were no longer allowing U.S. Playing Card to alter the back design of the bicycles to print gaps. So Christian designed the Phoenix back design for playing cards, and he owns the artwork, but he has U.S. Playing Card produce the cards. So our cards are actually the Phoenix brand is actually produced in casino quality. Now, bicycle is essentially a supermarket quality card, quality level 3, whereas the Phoenix brand is quality level 1, which is casino quality. These are the only playing card that have been produced with the magician in mind, okay? Because every deck of Phoenix cards has a couple of things. One thing is this card. Every deck contains this. This is it looks like just one of those advertisement game card things. However, this is actually a cheat sheet for the Juan Tamariz stack, and this is a cheat sheet for the Simon Aronson deck. And those are in every Phoenix deck. The other thing regarding the Phoenix deck is that every deck has a one-way back. Everything that we produce has a one-way back design and a one-way face design. So that's on every deck that we produce. But now that U.S. Playing Card has all of our artwork and things, we can do other things with them, and we've actually given them dies to use for cutting our cards. This is the first casino quality stripper deck that are cut right at U.S. Playing Card. So, and we are actually having short cards produced as well. I mean, these strippers are amazingly good. So it's it's just a little bit, and these are all factory cut. These are cut right out of the printing press. So it's not like we're taking a deck of cards and then altering it with the cut. These are actually being cut right at the factory as the cards are coming off of the printing press. Instead of being cut on the regular die punch, they're being cut on our stripper using the stripper die. Also, so casino quality stripper decks. Lovely artwork. Some guys just buy it for the artwork.
Right. I can't. I'll be perfectly honest. Like my local magic shop, I love them to death. But like I got a stripper deck from them that was like the local stripper deck, and it was just the one side cut. It was like that.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because not only are we having these factory cut, but the artwork was altered as well. The artwork is tilted in on the narrow end so that the border is uniform on all four sides. Because sometimes you look at a stripper deck and you can see where it was cut because the border looks funny.
I always wondered why they didn't print them inward like that. It only makes sense. I mean, when you look at it too hard, you can tell. Like
right,
really,
yeah.
Like really tell.
Yeah. So yeah, the borders are. I just lost you, Alex.
You there?
Um, I'm here. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
There.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. The other thing that we are producing too is the is a short card, which we are now, which are again factory punched right at U.S. Playing Card, that allows us to make the world's first and only casino quality Svengali deck. Which I mean, these are just. I mean, I just love to play with them. I mean, when I first got the short cards in, and I matched them up to for the force decks for a Svengali deck. I mean, these are so good to play with. These are just absolutely wonderful decks to play with. So if you know these, this is not your old Svengali deck from years past. I mean, these are just a thing of beauty and just fun to play with. It's great to remember how good a Svengali deck could be. If you're not using one, you should. They're great to force with. And I'll tell you, a lot of these guys, you don't need to be thinking that just because you put hours and hours and hours of practice into something does not necessarily mean that it's better than using something that's gaffed. You know, as long as it's surefire. I mean, yeah, I do a classic force myself, but a Svengali deck, if you got to force a card and you got to make sure that it's going to be the card that's forced, Svengali deck is great. I still use the crisscross force. Are you still there, Alex?
I am.
Okay, because I can't
I'm right
tell.
Here. Yeah, no, I'm right here.
So anyway, the Mark deck. I mean, these are again produced right at U.S. Playing Card and Casino quality, and our Mark deck is great. You, it's marked on all four corners, so you can, if you catch a glimpse of it any place, it's great. And also when you see where the marking is, you can't see anything else. And invariably, I mark deck when I'm demoing at conventions all the time, and I mean, I just use a mark deck all the time.
That is genius.
So now
it just went into spot for me. Yeah, that's genius.
Yep, that's where are we? There we go. It's the four of spades.
Right.
So
yeah, I was sitting there looking at it, going, "Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah,
I know this."
Yeah.
And then
yeah. So this one is. Oops, where are we? There we go.
That is the King of Clubs.
Ace.
Ace. Oh, Ace. It's kind of blurry. Ace of Clubs. Okay, I can see it now.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
That's right.
So anyway, that's the mark deck with the that we sell. And again, the mark deck was actually developed first, and then the regular deck was made to match the mark deck, which is like reverse engineering I mean, it's
like
amazing.
reverse engineering almost.
Right. Well, you're not taking a standard back design and then altering it to make it a mark deck. You're taking a mark deck and altered it to make it a standard deck.
Right.
So it's hidden in plain sight.
No, it was, and yeah, that's why I sat there and struggled, because I mean, I've seen so many different marking systems, so many different mark decks. So I was,
Sure.
I just hadn't learned that one. Laura Isley asks, how do you go about marketing yourself? Because now you're with Card Shark. I guess you're not performing too much. You're kind of marketing yourself all the time. But besides, like, the Card Shark stuff, do you have like your own business card, like effects that you do when you're handing out cards? Do you do websites? Any like I'll do I have rough smooth cards that I use for my business cards. So I make everything look invisible, and then I appear one out.
That's kind of cool. Actually, through Card Shark, we actually do produce playing cards for other magicians, and other magic companies. We actually produce a lot for most of the larger manufacturers of magic effects throughout the world. Because in fact, I'm working on an order right now from the UK, as well as one from one of our friend companies in California. It's really no secret that we actually do a lot of the production work for Vanishing Incorporated, who is Andy Gladwin and Josh Jay. We produce most of their effects that are playing card related. We do work with Penguin, we work with Murphy's, we work with Alakazam. So we do a lot of production. But anyway, because of this, because we are basically in constant production at U.S. Playing Card, we produce playing cards, business cards for magicians. So this is an example of my playing card, or my business card from that's produced at U.S. Playing Card. They're printed on the Phoenix playing card stock, which is basically a bicycle stock. We can do a bicycle back design. We can do the Phoenix back design. This is really unique. This is one thing that Christian Shank is trademarked. It's the QR card. So this is actually a QR code that's on the back, that if you were to scan this, it would embed my personal contact information that's on the card onto the phone or your whatever device you scanned it with. We do a lot of business cards for a lot of magicians. It's basically 2,500 cards for $250, and they're printed right at U.S. Playing Card. So, and we can even do gift cards at the same rate. If you had a special card that you had in mind that you wanted produced, we could actually produce it we produce it through Card Shark, and it would be printed at U.S. Playing Card Company, as long as their legal department approves the artwork. So that's one of the additional things that we do at Card Shark, is we manufacture cards for other people. So that's one of the ways that we market ourselves. But marketing myself, I right now I'm busy enough with what I'm doing with manufacturing, because I do make the bar cups. I do some woodwork for a couple other magicians, as well as do the regular Card Shark business. So.
All right. I'm gonna actually have to talk to you here. I'm gonna have to talk to you here a little bit later about a gimmick card I had in mind. I didn't know you guys did gimmick cards as well, so we'll be talking later about that.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to less personal matters. Okay, and I really apologize. I say this constantly. I'm so horrible with names. So please, forgive me. Siobhan Winston. Siobhan Winston. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you while you were performing magic, even like before or after a trick?
Most embarrassing. Actually, I've used a lot of those moments to my benefit. When something backfires, instead of trying to be embarrassed and trying to get out of it, go with it. Go with what you've done. And I guess that just comes with experience of working with effects and working with audiences and things like that. Prime example. when I was performing for the 4F convention a couple of years ago, and the magnetic ball actually fell out of my chop cup prematurely, and it rolled on the floor. And you just go with it, and I just pretended like I didn't even need it, and I just started using sleight of hand instead of using the magnets. But I will say one thing that happened when I was in my teenage years. I was severely burned in a fire eating accident, and then I was burned from ear to here, and then I did a straitjacket escape right after that. And when I pulled off the straitjacket over my head, most of my neck and chin came with the jacket, and so I was bleeding and I had burns, and it was because I didn't know how badly I was burned. I thought I was just a flash sear, but I actually had some really bad third-degree burns. So, but that was pretty embarrassing, I guess. Was
Sounds more painful, especially
yourself
as a fire eater myself. I mean, that's what I'm doing later tonight. So yeah, no, it's a scary thing doing that.
Well, I normally did a blowout where I'd blow kerosene onto a lit torch, and it would back up to the mouth, and it looked like a breathing fire. Well, one of the guys that was there, I had forgotten my kerosene, and he goes, "Use lighter fluid. You can use lighter fluid and do the same thing." Well, anyway, it was the lighter fluid and a difference in consistency that made me light up. So
yeah,
so anyway, I can laugh about it now, but back then it was pretty bad. So
yeah, I've always strictly used paraffin, liquid paraffin.
okay, yeah.
So I was always told that. Well, that's not true. Long before I started all this, I used to use Bacardi 151, but I think that was my partying years, and we probably shouldn't get too far into that. All right. Okay, so we have a winner. Cool if we announce the winner?
Sure.
All right. So the winner of the Mark Deck kit is Shane Simmons. So
what was his first name?
Shane.
Shane.
Shane Simmons.
Okay. Great.
So I will get their information on over to you. Congratulations, Shane. All right. And let's go ahead and how
See you, buddy.
Yep, there it is. Here, let's go over to you. There you go. There's what you're winning right there. Woo. All right. So for our week-long contest, you were putting up the science friction, you said. How do we want to... What was that?
No, go ahead. You were going to ask.
How do we want to run that contest? Normally, we'll run it as a word, just like they sent in, and I will do a drawing, much like this, where I'll have a name, and then I'll have my lovely girlfriend select one, and somebody will win. I've
got an idea. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. We'll see.
I thought you would.
This is actually pretty good here. Let me just see something here. You could do like the whatever number of person you want. But what they would have to do is physically name the 6 items that are currently on the banner on the Card Shark website. How's that?
So 6 items.
There's 6 items. There are 6 items currently on the banner on the Card Shark website.
Okay. All right. I just want to write that down so I knew.
Now I'll let you know about it after we get off the air.
Right, but I wanted to, so I can remember this for later. So 6 items on the website on the banner.
There's a scrolling banner on the first page of the website.
And they have to name all 6. So I will have them then. What they'll do, you go ahead, grab all 6 items, and you're going to send them right to my inbox. And we will end this contest and announce the winner on Friday the 10th in 1 week.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Perfect. All right. In that case, let's see. We are sitting right around an hour and 16 minutes, so we have time for another question, I think. If you want to take another question, good sir?
Sure. I'm here.
All righty then. So, how does you say you don't really perform very much? Is that a choice because you are working so much within the?
It's a choice. I mean, it's not. You know, it's. I mean, I could be working as much as I wanted to work. I mean, you know, performing. It's just that. You know, there's only so many hours in the day. You know.
Right.
You know, and I do enjoy my time away from Magic. You know, I mean, there were the days that I was Magic 24/7. You know, I do enjoy my time away from Magic. You know, I do. You know, I have a romantic interest. She's you know, she occupies you know, several hours a day. You know, it's you know, and I have, you know, regular household responsibilities to do as well. You know, mowing the lawn, raking the leaves, all that other good stuff. So, but I could, you know, if I really wanted to do Magic more than I do, I could. I mean, I was actually shamed into doing a show. Well, in fact, it's funny because Garrett Thomas always, you know, Garrett Thomas always hounds me. You know, he's always going. So, when's the last time you worked for a lay audience? You know. You know, and then I'll tell them, and they'll go, "Shame on you, shame." You know, and Garrett's right. You know, I mean, I don't perform that, you know, that much for Matt. And like I said, I did get shamed into doing a show. It was actually a New Year's show a couple of years ago at a local country club, and you know, it was. I mean, it got to the point that you know they were throwing money on the table, and they just kept throwing money on the table, and it's finally I said, okay, I'll do it. You know, you know, and it was. I really enjoyed myself. I'd forgotten how much fun it is to work for a lay audience. You know, because most of the time I'm working for magicians. You know, and they just go.
Right. Like engineers.
How much is that? Exactly, like engineers. You know, although I will say that with some of our products, you know, after you know we do something for them, and it's like, you know, you'll have like 5 or 6 guys standing there like this. And then when you get to the end, they do this. You know, wondering if anybody got it. You know, and they all just kind of look at each other, going, and you can see the, you know, WTF over their heads, you know, and they're, you know, what? Wait. In fact, I did a card shark effect this past year at the 4F convention,
Mm-hmm.
And it's an effect that's called numb, and it's an amazing prediction effect, and it was written up in the 4F issue of the Linking Ring. I only saw the online version. I didn't see the, you know, when they were writing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in the Linking Ring, and the effect was was written as the most most mystifying effect he had seen in the entire convention. So, that's typical of what we sell. So, anyway, I mean, in the past couple of years, we had the #1 trick on the Magic Cafe. We had Get Sharky, and then we co-produced Inferno with Joshua J's trick, and we produced it, and it was voted as the #1 trick for 2013 on the Magic Cafe. So, it's our website it's a great website, and that's www.card-shark.de, or you can go to Phoenix Deck, one word, phoenixdeck.com. So that's
all right.
Phoenix Deck.
Yep. Phoenix Deck. That's right. All right. Well, that's. Thank you for that. This is a great place to start wrapping things up. I want to thank you again for coming out and doing this with us. This has been more than fun. You're a joy to talk to.
I'm sorry, I haven't been able to see you for the past half an hour, but.
That's all right. I'm not all that pretty anyway. You don't need to see this. I'd like to also thank Laura Isley for setting this up with you and with us. So thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Laura. Thank you, Laura.
The next set of Q&As, October 6th, I'll be hosting the Great Smoothini, the Ghetto Houdini. October 11th, we have Jason Palter. October 13th, Morgan Strebler. October 18th, Stuart Palm, and October 20th, Peter the Perceptionist Turner. So we have a whole month full of exciting interviews and Q&As. And one more time, I just wanted to thank you, Roger. This has been so much fun.
It's been fun. Thank you very much.
All right.
It's been an honor.
What was that?
It was an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Likewise, sir. Very much so. So thank you guys very much. That concludes the broadcast. We'll see you all next time.